It is the last game of the day here in Grandmasters, not just the Americas region, but across the board. And I'm excited. We're seeing the OTK Paladin one more time, but it might be struggling a little bit more against ETC, who is bringing Bomb Warrior. Bomb Warrior? Did I just say? I just said Bomb Warrior.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go with it. Bomb Warrior, which is a pretty good counter. Tell me about this matchup.
Okay, well, the Bomb Warrior, as we have seen...
Bomb Warrior.
Bomb Warrior, sorry. As we have seen perhaps too many times in the past, shovels bombs into their opponent's deck, and if the OTK Paladin draws those bombs, occasionally they die. So what the Warrior does is try to pressure the Paladin, because the Paladin has to cycle through their entire deck to get to that Holy Wrath combo.
Let's take a look at the Paladin as you continue telling me this.
And the Paladin has to cycle through their entire deck to be able to do the Holy Wrath with the Shrivala for the 25 damage combo. And to cycle through the rest of your deck, it means that if you draw every single card, you will also draw every single bomb. So any pressure that the Warrior pushes against the Paladin will add up. And if you add some bombs onto that, eventually it does add up to 30 health, and the Paladin often dies in this matchup. It is possible to kind of play around that. We've seen some players go timeout and then try to draw a bunch of cards, get all through those bombs while they're immune, but it's very difficult to pace since the bombs are randomly placed in your deck.
There are some pretty interesting secondary and tertiary deck things that could come up, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. In the meantime, Rase sitting at, assuming my notes are correct, ETC sitting at 3 and 5, Rase sitting at 5 and 3.
My notes match up.
Your notes match up? All right, that's a good start. It's an important game for both of these guys, and let's get started.
ETC running one copy of Weapons Project can help a little bit, but I mean, it actually doesn't really help, does it, huh? It can override a True Silver Champion, but True Silver Champion is 4 healing. Weapons Project is 6 armor, so... But you can't does it work like that? It can stop extra healing from happening with Crystal Smith Kangler, but I think in general, Weapons Project isn't what ETC is looking for. ETC is looking for a 1-drop, get a lot of early chip damage in, and continue to try and pressure with early minions, after which bomb shuffling will occur, hopefully, for ETC. And Rase is going to try to combat that. Try not to take too much early chip damage. Try to cycle, but making sure that cycling does not lead to his death, right? If Rase, for example, happens to get down to 5-10 health, he may try to heal up before cycling to make sure that 1 or 2 stray bombs won't be the end of him.
Another slightly awkward thing about this deck against Bomb Warrior is that Prismatic Lens can draw a bomb, right?
Yes, it can.
And if that's the case, what that means is the minion that's drawn becomes a 5-mana minion.
Correct.
Then the bomb is drawn as part of the Prismatic Lens effect.
And it normally draws another card.
And then it draws another card, but that doesn't get the discount.
Right, so bombs are just awful.
So all the bombs do is, first, they detonate, explode in your face, not good. Secondly, they increase the cost of whichever minion gets drawn up to 5.
And if that wasn't enough, in some cases, you can't even kill your Bomb Warrior opponent because they go past 50 health and 2 Holy Wraths for 25 just aren't enough.
Right.
And it's kind of important for ETC to have these Eternium Rovers, at least the one he played naturally. He might go for the Explodinator here just for the extra power on board, but also extra damage coming in from the Goblin Bombs. But the Eternium Rovers in his deck, at least, can be used with Warpath or to clean up Novice Engineers and stuff like that to gain some extra armor to try and get to that armor threshold. So it's a very difficult matchup for the Paladins to navigate.
Difficult choice here for ETC as well.
I think he decides he's in a position with this Rover where armor gain will be enough that he won't need an extra Eternium Rover to squeeze in with a Warpath, so he's opting to go for the Explodinator just to get some extra oomph, you know?
Yep, just going to kill Rase as quickly as he can by the looks of things.
You can note that Rase is also not running weapon removal, so ETC can just hold on to the Wrench Caliber, save it for a rainy day, or for a... what do you call them? Elephants. Elephants.
All right. However, ETC is running. He's running.
Weapons Project.
Weapons Project, so he can shut down True Silver Champion at some point. And yeah, the Harrison Jones as well. Neither of which are in the hand at the moment, unfortunately for ETC, but that's okay. There's the second Eternian Rover. Oh, if he had a third, he went Warpath.
Okay. Consecration clears this. Oh my goodness. ETC, I think is correct to aggressively play out the Explodinator because all it takes is Rase not having Consecration and suddenly the board gets a bit more annoying. Ray's probably happy to see that Consecration cleans up the board, deters the threat of Zilliax popping down, Snip Snap for some extra damage, or even an Omega Assembly into another Magnetic. Swinging face again, trying to keep ETC's armor count low, and again with a second True Silver charge, a second True Silver champion in hand, got to get those swings in. Also plays Red Harrison on 5. Okay. ETC choosing to launch this Wrench Caliber. I'm not 100% sure about sending this upstairs just yet, because ETC is not pressuring Rase enough, and he doesn't have... Let's say there was a second Wrench Caliber in ETC's hand. I'm a bit more happy just swinging there because you start shuffling all the bombs in, but right now, you shuffle 2 bombs in, you don't have Blastmaster Boom, you don't have Elec or stuff like that. There's ways to get more mileage out of your Wrench Caliber, and I think swinging this doesn't really let him do that. He could have a read that there's a second True Silver. Perhaps he thought Rase was swinging that last turn to set up another True Silver this turn, in which case he could swing the Wrench Caliber, then Weapons Project, and then start swinging in with Weapons Project. That is a possibility. But I think in general I would have liked to see ETC hold on to this first charge of the Wrench Caliber.
Well, he's clearly demonstrating a very, very aggressive game plan. He's not holding back or waiting to do anything when Rase runs out of cards. He's just going for it. And,
Rase has a few options. Can Prismatic Lens, can True Silver to clean up this Rover, can also Hammer of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath doesn't always kill a target, so I don't hate the Hammer of Wrath here just to get rid of the Rover.
I think maybe the advantage to jamming the bombs as quickly as possible is that Rase isn't going to get the opportunity to go timeout and draw a bunch of them, because if they're all scattered throughout the deck, it's much more difficult to time that correctly.
It's true. But you could also shuffle a bunch in together. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because if it is right near the end, then the timer can't be used.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Should block from ETC, trying to find something like an Elec or a Clockwork Goblin to fully utilize his mana this turn. It's not going to be there. I wonder if he should have Omega Assemblied instead of shield blocking here. Try and find something to play. Even if it's something like another Explodinator or even just Replicant Mana, it's just something to get on the board, because I mean, being passive isn't necessarily bad if you're armoring up the whole time, because ETC can still get out of the damage combo range. But it is giving Rase some breathing room, right?
I wonder.
It is. He's got a very clunky hand at the moment. Like, this turn just seems pretty awkward. 9 cards in hand, which means, yes, Prismatic Lens or Crystology would draw the 2, but then he needs to play something in order to not mill. I guess he could play Crystal Smith Kangor, but maybe that's important for later.
I think Kangor you want to save later for bomb.
True Silver Champion?
I do like Crystology, True Silver Champion. Could even just throw out the Elven Archer, but I think equipping the True Silver Champion is a little okay.
The difference between 29 damage and 30 damage against a warrior, probably not as...
It can be relevant. It is technically burst damage.
It is 1 burst damage.
I hope you like my invention.
Opting to play the Soup Bender here. Okay, so Rase is trying to empty his hand faster, allowing him to go to more efficiently use Prismatic Lens and other cards to make sure he doesn't mill anything, but letting him cycle faster through the deck and hoping to get to that full damage combo before ETC has 50 health.
Yep, Dynamatic going to be able to clear this board up very easily. ETC might not even be bothered about clearing the board, to be honest. Like that Wrench Caliber could continue just going face.
It's something to consider for sure if he wants to kill off the Soup Bender.
Even Warpath, like, when does Warpath get any better than this?
He's already played 2 Rovers, so it doesn't get much better. It could be used to like overdraw an Acolyte later, but swinging means that he can get extra armor. He gets 1 extra armor by armoring up instead of using the Warpath because he takes the 1 damage from the Soup Bender.
That's true. That's true. That makes sense.
Prismatic Lens doesn't let Rase play much else this turn unless it's an Acolyte, but then...
The True Silver is something he'll be looking at. He'd like to, as you were saying, play that alongside the Prismatic Lens.
I would have liked equipping the True Silver last turn. Maybe he thinks he needs it later on to try and... but if he had played it last turn, he could have played the more awkward minions this turn, along with the Prismatic Lens. Like if he was playing the Soup Vendor anyways without drawing cards, he could have gone True Silver. Yeah, the turn before on turn 6. Along with the Crystology, of course. Okay, the one of Weapons Project, one of Harrison. It's one turn late, but it's good enough. Equip a 2/3 weapon, draw 3 cards, shield 5/4. Nice shield slam. Now ITC starts swinging. There's the Yellock. One Wrench Caliber gone. Still 2 Clockwork Goblins in the deck.
One bomb.
There's 1 bomb left in the deck.
But the Alec, assuming ETC gets the other
Wrench
bomb
Caliber
generator soon,
Goblin, yeah.
exactly, the Alec is going to cause some pretty serious amounts of damage.
I wonder.
Elephants are usually peaceful creatures. But not when bombs are involved.
Not this one. This one used to be. It used to be, yeah, all right, Academic Espionage. I'll shuffle some more
Yeah.
other class cards in the deck. No, now this elephant launches bombs.
Let me think.
What a funny world. Anyway, Race
Picturing it now.
Yeah. So with the Prismatic Lens, Race will go up to 10 cards, which means he'll have to spend a card to not mill something. So he's considering not doing that instead. He can go Timeout Prismatic Lens. This means that if a bomb is drawn with Prismatic Lens, the bomb does not go off. So it's not Order Lull, because Prismatic Lens would let him see what he draws first, but this guarantees that if a bomb is drawn, that the damage is not taken.
It's pretty nice. Doesn't work out though.
Okay. Not a whole lot to do here. We're already near turn 10, so ETC should hold on to that Omega Assembly. Not really worth developing too much. ETC could throw down a Militia Commander just to spend the mana on the off chance that Raze does not have a board clear. But I think the Dynamatic in Harrison will warrant some answer by itself. Also, important to note that ETC has reached the 46 armor mark, not far off of 50.
Yeah, Raze really needs the cards like Hammer of Wrath to start going face now rather than dealing with minions.
Let me
It's becoming a bit of a problem. The Pyromancer costs 5. Pyromancer Shrink Ray together costs 7. So he can do that to clear a board at some point.
Might not even have to play this Pyromancer. It's a little too awkward at 5 mana. If Shrink Ray is used, it deals with most of the board. The problem is that it can be magnetized minions, so perhaps Raze wants to deal with the 1/1s as well. I think this is fine.
Keeping a Pyromancer alive, this makes a lot more sense.
Also, he needs hand size, right? There's what, 1, 2, 4, 5 combo pieces that you need in your hand for the 2-turn combo. It's actually interesting to note Race's list. When you go for these OTKs, what one of the decks I was trying to run with had inside of it was an augmented elk as well. What you can do is go Shrivala, Elk, Baleful Maker, and then you can double Holy Wrath in 1 turn.
Yep.
For it's literally a 1 turn 50 damage. In this case, Raze can do it over 2 turns because it doesn't quite add up with the mana.
Okay.
Unless both Prismatic Lenses hit both Holy Wraths and they are reduced to 3 mana or less, in which case you can, but that's very, very, very unlikely.
They've both been drawn. All of the combo pieces are in the hand now. It's just a case of getting there.
I believe 0 bombs left in deck now.
Yep.
Now Raze can heal back up. Right, my point about the 1 damage combo versus the 2-turn combo is that if Raze launches 25, it will likely get rid of all the armor, let's say, and do a bit of damage to ETC's actual life total.
Yes.
But ETC can use Ziliax to heal back up with that health.
Gotcha.
So the armor count can be whittled down, but the health can be brought back.
Ideally, then, the second
Let me think.
combo would be more damage. Would be 30 maybe with the True Silver and the Elven Archer. But Elven
Right.
Archer's gone, and I believe both True Silvers are gone as well.
Both Hammer of Wraths are gone too, so I mean, Race is running out of damage, needs to wrap this up real quick because the ETC's at 45 and it's almost out of range.
Well, it's going to be the turn after next that it begins.
Yep. Not to say that it's completely over. Race still might be able to get some minion damage in with just the Shrivalas on board. There's Elec, but still no Clockwork Goblins to be found. Warpath here to deny any extra healing from the... or not? I mean, I guess at this point, the healing doesn't matter because ETC
No.
knows Rase is going to get the combo out, so it's just
It's just a case of,
deal with the board, make sure he hits the button this turn.
yeah, it's a case of, do I have enough armor and health to outlast these combos? And it looks,
And importantly, having a mech left on the board for after the Shivala thing means that Zulex can just be played to hit something.
oh, yeah.
Because Shivala has to hit the board to be shuffled back into the deck, which means that there will be something to heal off of with Ziliax.
Yep.
Prismatic Lens.
Prismatic Lens does
Will-
next turn is the time.
Will it draw the rest of his deck? It'll draw a spell or a minion for sure, but if there's 2 spells or 2 minions, it won't.
Wait, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, because the turn after he can still...
Yeah, and he can't do it this turn alongside Prismatic Lens regardless. So, yep, just clear the board, play the Pyromancer, and draw the last card or the last 2 cards. from the deck. It's going to be just the spells. The last card's the spell as well.
Timeout, I believe.
Time
2.
out, yep.
Okay. Did somebody order bomb?
Somebody ordered a bomb.
I don't think that's going to happen this turn. ETC wants to get out of, like, just adding the extra armor is going to help him get out of range. So he can consider just Warpath into clear here, armor up, and then he can go Elec Clockwork Goblin if he wants to.
What now?
He could also just sit tight and not do that.
49.
As long as he hits the button this turn, I'm kind of happy.
But yeah,
because
49 means that after the next turn, the armor up will take him out of range,
Yep.
even without the Ziliax. Though he'll play the Ziliax, obviously, because he's going to want to guarantee that there's no extra damage. Although, if he's tracking the cards correctly, he'll know that Race is pretty much out.
Yep, exactly. Double Banker, double Holy Wrath, timeout, Shivala, and a Shrink Ray with the Consecration on top.
It's really difficult to see how Race...
I think ETC is just trying to find the best land this turn. It's almost a solved thing in terms of what he knows is left in Race's deck in hand.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to optimize. All right, let's make sure I actually get out of range. Is there any more aggressive way I can kind of make this? Also, if the timeout is drawn here instead of the bombs, it means that the damage cannot come out this turn, and it does. And Rase is not happy to see that because that means there are 2 bombs in the deck that cost 5 mana. So if Holy Wrath is used after shuffling in Shivala, there is a chance that it just deals 5.
The sequencing as well, like it would have had to be bomb, timeout specifically in that order. Even if it was bomb, timeout, bomb, it's still...
And yet another reason why this is difficult,
Let
because if
me
your last
think.
cards are bombs, then it messes with the combo and you have to further kind of stall the game, which gives the warrior more time to armor up and get out of range or develop more aggression.
Raze can Shrink Ray Consecration, which just negates the armor gain that ETC just got, I guess. But then he just gains it again the following turn.
Exactly.
It also prevents Ziliax from coming out and being huge, I guess. But then ETC develops more mechs and Ziliax comes out the turn after. So as much as I'm trying to see a silver lining here, it's not happening.
And this is why it's a difficult matchup.
Does he just realize that he's probably going to lose anyway and go for the 1 in 3?
I think he does have to. I think if he waits, it's not going to be good enough.
He's going to wait.
Actually, will it? 49. No, it's not enough either way. It's just going to be out of range. He's going to need the Shivala to stick, which means that he should clear the board to try and set up an easier board for the Shivala to stick onto.
Yep, and again, as we keep saying, Ziliax is there. ETC just needs to develop a mech, any mech. Next turn, stick Ziliax.
2 mechs, because one
2
of them will
mechs,
die.
sorry, of course. But that's fine, he can do that. He's got the Kaboom Bot and the Bronze Gatekeeper, and Bronze Gatekeeper dies to Shivala, and Ziliax goes onto the Kaboom Bot and does a lot of work there.
Even without a mech on the board, ETC can the following turn go armor up Kaboom Bot Ziliax, for example.
Yep, that's
just
true.
from hand,
That's
which is
true.
good too.
They could play the 2 mechs this turn, and the next turn go Dynamatic Ziliax, I guess. Whatever.
Just deciding which one to play, which one's better to hold on to. I think it's... unless something goes terribly wrong, I believe ETC has this game locked down. He's just trying to make sure there's nothing he plays that throws that off.
I guess the only way it could go wrong for him is if Shivala somehow survives.
Right.
Slam 7 into the face.
I'm almost out of cards.
I'm out of cards.
I'm out of cards.
I can't do that voice line. I can do a lot of other ones.
Give us your best voice line.
Yeah, but we me on the spot like that.
Later on, give us your...
It's easier when I see the card being played, because then I feel it, you know, it just comes out of me.
Well, unfortunately for Rase, with Dynamatic and Ziliax, ETC can very easily get rid of this Shivala. Is there any way the second Shivala would deal the damage? I guess it's... Well, no, Militia
You'd have
Commander.
to commit the second Shivala, hope one of them sticks, and then be able to banker it next to him with a Holy Wrath.
Okay.
And I believe he has to do that. The Holy Wrath by itself isn't going to do it, and it's well near impossible for this Shivala to stick. I don't believe there's 6 out of 14 cards left in ETC's hand and deck that would not deal with the Shivala.
Okay.
Brawl deals with it. I guess Shield Slam doesn't. Maybe
Ziliax, Dynamatic, Militia Commander. Like, you're right,
and
there's too
Town
many.
Crier into Militia Commander. There's just too many
Or
options.
Town Crier into Ziliax.
So even though it's kind of hopeless, I think Rase needed to play out a Shivala here and at least play around the chance of Brawl. Like, maybe Brawl's just not in ETC's hand, and the minions he have doesn't let him quite clear enough. Although, again, it still might not be enough, but this, I think, is almost a guaranteed losing line. I mean, it's pretty guaranteed either way, but it's hard to find those like 0.0 whatever percentage points you can gain, but it may not even exist. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Okay, starting with Ziliax. I like that. Thinking about it, changes in his mind.
Where are you taking his time here with this one? Yeah, we're gonna layer the Ziliax on top of the Dynamatic for the most possible healing. Back up to 30. And he knows that Rase does not have a way of dealing 30 damage. Rase can go, you know, play the combo, put Shivala into the...
You can Holy Wrath your own face, can't you?
It's time to test your metal.
Yep, yes you can.
He can.
I don't think he will.
No, he's gonna still
should-
try and win
yeah.
because the next Ziliax, the next Shivala could stick. It's possible.
Exactly. So now Holy Wrath goes upstairs.
This Shivala could stick, actually. Either of them could.
Yep, as long as one sticks and can connect face, there is a chance.
Unfortunately for Rase, Brawl plus Militia Commander, I think guarantees
It's time.
Indeed.
clean this up.
There's not enough time to generate one once to threaten ETC's life total. Even if you could. You can consider timing out versus hero power here. I think the hero power is better. Higher chance of survival if Brawl doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Means that the Kaboom bot has a better target, at least for Rase.
Yep. Brawl plus Militia Commander will be guaranteed a way to finish off the Paladin. As we predicted from the very beginning, this matchup is really hard for the Paladin.
So ETC is running only one Brawl, so there was a real possibility for Rase that somehow disconnects.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising. There's a reason that the game went all the way to Rase only having timeout in his hand and the rest of his hand deck being empty. Like, there's a reason it went on this long.
And it is kind of close. Like, if there was a True Silver Elven Archer at the end, it could have been enough. ATC is running weapon removal, so that's not incredibly likely to happen, but there are ways that the Paladin can win that.
But ATC did take it down, and we are going to be moving on into game number 2. And this, for Rase, specifically, is where we need to start talking about secondary and tertiary decks. Language Hacker, does Rase have a solution to this problem?
I wouldn't say it's a solution. It is, let's say it's a better question. I really like calling them questions and answers, as you've noticed. Rase's secondary list has some very, very interesting cards. It kind of switches off the all-in Holy Wrath game plan and adds some spicy cards that can help for specifically the Warrior matchup.
Well, I am surprised to be telling you this, but I've just received word in my ear that Rase is sticking to his primary deck. He's actually ultimately decided that it is better suited against the Bomb Warrior, and ETC has switched to his tertiary list. Let's take a look at what ETC is bringing. It's going to be the Barrister, Sephorian Bomber, more bombs of course, great, and Geppetto Joypuz.
Now, a thing to note here is that ETC is removing a Weapons Project, a Warpath, and 2 Eternium Rovers, so there is a little bit less armor gain.
I feel like he used all of those quite efficiently in that game.
He did use them very efficiently, and that's what allowed him to get to that 50, it was actually 49 at the end there, 49 health total. So if some of these cards are removed, it could be possible for Rase to actually more easily do that damage. Now, that being said, it is a more aggressive list with Barista to add extra bombs into your extra bomb generators in your hand, and even just having more bomb generators with C4 and Bomber can help be more aggressive and shuffle even more bombs into Rase's deck. We didn't see that much aggression from ETC just because of the ways his hand and deck was drawn.
Yep.
It just ended up being a slower game where he had to armor up and try to get out of range that way. But with these cards, he can be much more aggressive and shuffle
With honor.
extra bombs in.
Oh, well, let's get into it.
And we see TC keep Clockwork Goblin, Wrench Caliber. He knows what those are for.
3 mana bomb generation, 4 mana bomb generation, and 5 mana bomb generation. Okay, all right.
Should print a 1 mana bomb generation.
No, they really shouldn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure. Just change improved morale. 1 mana, deal 1 damage to a minion. If it doesn't kill it,
Shuffle a bomb in?
shuffle a bomb. Seems a bit strong, doesn't it?
Ah, it's fine.
Elec, improve morale, improve morale. Hit
Oh my
hit the Wrench
goodness.
Caliber.
Okay, stop talking.
Goblin
People are gonna hear and start making suggestions. Okay.
There you go, Blizzard.
Race keeps the Pyromancer. I like this a lot. Similar to the argument for mages of keeping Apprentice to just play out and contest an early Clockwork Goblin or something like that, I really like the Pyromancer keep. It isn't cycle, but there is a lot of cycle in the deck, and Pyromancer can help deal with some of the early aggression.
Vendor able to come down on turn 2. No way of proccing its effect though, so go ahead and play the Pyromancer first and maybe save that Soup Vendor for the...
And with this curve, my goodness.
3, 3, 4, 5.
There are 5 potential bombs that could be shuffled in over the next 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah, with no Elec in sight.
And that's without an Elec.
Do you Soup Vendor here or not? Soup Vendor trade?
So with the coin, Clockwork Goblin, ETC likely has another 3 mana card in his hand, so Rase could
Let
consider
me
playing with Soup Vendor to contest that, but he already has True Silver Champion or Hammer to deal with that. So it doesn't actually accomplish too much, and if the Soup Vendor is left on the board, turn 4 for ETC could be something like a Militia Commander, then the Soup Vendor dies for no reason without actually killing anything. So I would like to see him keep the Soup Vendor to try and draw a bit more later. That being said, it might not end up drawing anything later, but it's certainly not doing much now. It could do some chip damage, however. 1 damage over several turns. Sure, it doesn't... oh, he's going face. Okay, this can help with the damage game plan later. Getting chunking some life in now, which means that if some damage is done to the face before the armor is stacked on, that's just extra damage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. And now Rase, Soup Vendor survives. He can True Silver Champion down that Clockwork Goblin if he wants the Soup Vendor to.
If you just Hammer of Wraths upstairs.
Hammer Wrath into the face?
Yeah.
You're a crazy man, Language Hacker, but I like it.
Could Prismatic Lens.
Yeah, Prismatic Lens is very tempting as well. I mean, maybe I'm overvaluing the Soup Vendor surviving here.
It's also just cleaning up the board, making you have... If you take no chip damage, from Race's perspective, game goes on longer, you can afford to take the bomb damage, you're not at like 15 health, and then suddenly the bombs are scary. If you're at 30 and you can maintain that and stop this early pressure from ETC, which is why we saw him keep the Pyromancer, then it can be a bit more manageable to deal with the bombs as they come because you have more initial health to work with. Then you take the bombs and then you can heal out of range. Whereas if you're already low,
Move quickly.
the bombs could kill you at some point.
Let me think.
I think we're going to see Hammer Wrath on the Clockwork Goblin just to, again, maintain board presence, even though it's a 1/4. It still cycles card. Prismatic Lens can be used later as well.
There's the Crystology. Okay, now he's got some of the cheap cycle going. He's got Crystology and Prismatic Lens, both available to play next turn. Looks like the Soup Vendor effect isn't going to be all that important, but more bombs!
Every single bomb generator.
More bombs.
Imagine if there wasn't a 7-minion limit and Blastmaster Boom was played. The bombs just start going off the screen.
The Boombox, you mean? Yeah.
Sorry, the Boombots, you're right.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nasty. You just lose to a hand like this.
So double Novice means that Dynomatic on 5 will not kill the Soup Vendor, so I'm expecting Rase to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably not so bad to draw the bomb early,
You
because
like
at least
my
then Rase can start healing.
Job's done.
Yep.
Back up again.
It's scary when it comes in bursts, right? When there's like 2 or 3 drawn at once, when there's already a board.
Yeah,
Takes you down.
absolutely.
Oh, that almost killed off the Soup Vendor.
Well, that's certainly going to do well for the Soup
So
Vendor.
ETC went face last turn with a Wrench Caliber because he knew he wasn't going to punch it twice, and the Dynomatic this turn, if Rase developed more minions, would help clean that up, which is why he went face last turn. And this time, I do like ETC swinging with a Wrench Caliber because there's another one in hand. Also, he has to spend his mana.
Let me think.
A thinking turn from Rase here.
Damn, there's a lot to think about. Again, True Silver Champion, it can deal with the minion, but is this a card that needs to be hitting the face? Again, Weapons Project has been removed now from ETC's deck. There's still Harrison, I believe. Yep, that's still there.
Rase doesn't know for certain that that is the case yet. Once he sees a C4 and Bomber come down later, he'll know.
He doesn't know.
But he could estimate that ETC has switched to the more bomb-heavy list.
Move quickly.
Considering how to plan out the next couple turns, is this Dynamatic worth removing? Snip Snack could come down next turn, Ziliax could still come down. Is it worth clearing this to play around that, or does Rase want to just cycle more? Okay, Rase putting his foot down, saying, alright, Ziliax doesn't exist. I'm going to deal as much damage as I can right now.
It's the way he wins, I guess. He can't afford to play around all of the cards, especially the cards that are just going to beat him. But Snip Snap here can be played twice.
Can be played twice.
That's 7 damage going to the dome.
Harder to clear as well with the quality like consecration stuff.
Really difficult to clear. Well, that being said, I guess Shrink Ray into then Pyromancer and then a couple spells, which...
I mean, we're talking about multiple spells now, especially when Rase doesn't have enough mana yet.
Yep.
So
or Shrink Ray into Aura Quality into Pyromancer plus Hammer of Wrath. Oh, I guess it would have to be a quality because Shrink Ray would be 11 mana.
But I mean,
awkward,
even playing it now, it makes it very difficult for Rase to deal with. There's no humility, there's no Elder Peacekeeper.
Yep.
And I really like cashing on the Snip Snap. The Wrench Caliber can still be played later, the C4 and Bomber can still be played later, but the C4 and Bomber here, for example, if it gets Shrink Rayed, it's just kind of done. This way, there's still stuff under the Dynamatic. Granted, Rase still can just Shrink Ray this and ignore it, but, you know, it's a bit stickier. Okay, well, second True Silver picked up. Rase is probably happy he was swinging last turn with the True Silver. He's probably not re-equipping it this turn.
He is chunking away at that damage quite nicely.
I'm very surprised to see this.
You thought he was just going to leave the Snip Snap as a 1/1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
I mean, maybe...
What did this play around? Ziliax? Not really.
Exactly, Ziliax. And it's something, like, you're not really playing around Ziliax anyways.
No, because you're still leaving 1/1 max on the board.
I'm not sure about this play.
I guess...
Not that I think it's necessarily bad. It doesn't look pretty, but...
If Ziliax were played now, it would be a mech still with the Death Rattle, which is still very awkward to deal with after that. I guess now, if there's a Ziliax, it's much easier to clear everything.
It's possible he's also trying to set up for Prismatic Lens Consecration turn.
Okay.
It also limits the amount of minions on board, so if Blastmaster Boom were to come down, there would be fewer Boom bots. Okay, yep. I like this play more now that I think about it. I wish we could just see what the players are thinking. Like just have a script where it's like, this is what Rase thought about, yeah.
Now little thought bubbles on the screen would be great.
Okay, Prismatic Lens, Acolyte, Flashlight. That rhymes.
Rase down to 12 now, thanks to all the bombs going off.
I believe there's 2 left in the deck.
Yep.
For now.
For now, but there's still a Wrench Caliber, still a C4 Bomber, and still Alex skulking around. Is that what they do? They skulk?
No, those are the guys.
They stomp.
Yeah.
Stomping around in the deck. Getting ready to launch some bombs. You know they used to just play with spiders? Because they used to shuffle the ambushes in
oh yeah,
very briefly it was tested, yeah.
With the
from spiders,
Elder Race Riders, right?
From spiders to academia to bombs.
These Alex live really interesting lives. All right.
Job done.
The job is done. Getting the True Silver equipped now. There's still time to play Prismatic Lens and stuff later, but getting these True Silver charges in before Harrison is drawn is probably a good idea. It heals a little bit too, which isn't terrible. There's not that much healing left in his hand other than Flashlight.
Oh, it's an elephant. Rase is doing a much better job this game of keeping ETC's health down. Yep. Obviously, it reached almost 50 in the last game.
So with the Electra, we see ETC equip the Wrench Caliber. He mounts over the C4 and Bomber first, but preloading the Wrench Caliber means that next turn, the Elec plus the Wrench Caliber plus the C4 and Bomber shuffles 2 extra bombs in. That's not a bomb.
It's not a bomb. It's the opposite of a bomb, really.
Yep, there's 3 bombs in. After next turn, there'll be 7 bombs in. It's looking dicey. Now, again, this is interesting. This is the other end of the spectrum. Last game we saw ETC just armor up out of range. This game, he got the kind of draws where he could be much more aggressive. We saw him coin out of 3, played a 3, played a 4. Dealt with the board a little bit on 5, but he's still being very aggressive here. He understands that, all right, well, I'm probably not armoring up out of this game, but also I'm so aggressive, so I should keep pushing with that. Which is why we see him foregoing the normal warrior hero power to get the Dr. Boom stuff. Okay, so Flash of Light from Rase gives him a Crystology. So give him Crystal with Kangor.
Okay, Crystal with Kangor, that's what you want.
I mean, it's the only thing you can draw. Okay.
Yep.
Draw the card.
Healing up
Probably
eight.
swing face with this True Silver as well.
That's a bump, it's fine, that's fine.
He's going to have to draw them to win the game, right?
He is going to have to do that. But the True Silver healing for another 4 is great. Obviously, Crystal Smith Kangor should heal for another 4 in theory. Well, no, with the hero power and the shield slam, it's not going to.
So now ETC has to choose if he wants to stop this Kangor from healing at all. He can still do the play we were talking about, Augmented Elec, C4 Bomber, bump a 1/1 in, and then shield slam it.
So many bombs.
I think ETC wants to take this turn to go Elec Bomber.
I think he does. There's already 2 bombs still sitting in the deck, and just shuffling in another 4.
And it develops the board. Otherwise, to clear this, you go hero power and then just Warpath instead.
Okay. That's fine. Just making sure that
I'm not sure if I like this as much. Is he still playing the Elec at least? He's playing the Elec at least, and this is...
Maybe he's not even swinging. Oh no, he is still playing the Alex. So that's 2 more bombs. So 20 damage in the deck in total. And Rase only has 14 health, so...
I guess this is fine too, because 2 True Silvers are gone, so it's difficult for the Elec to be dealt with. Sure. I think I'm okay with this. I'm on board now.
One way or another. Oh, okay.
Oh, Races, flinching. I mean... Okay. Now what?
3 bombs in the deck. Rase needs to either heal out of range. I don't think he can. Oh, he's got Shivala, obviously.
With the timeout drawn now, Rase could try to set up a turn where he draws a bunch and gets through the bombs, but it's difficult. You need a setup for that. He'd have to play Acolyte, hope that ETC doesn't kill it, and then draw a bunch with it. But you can't even do that. So I think he's just going to go.
He's going to go for the draws now. I really do like this, actually. It's what you were talking about earlier. Yes, okay, gets a bomb.
Sure.
Can he get a second one? Yes, he can.
That's very good for Rase. Can he get a third one?
Not quite.
Cannot.
But still, now he has more health than damage in his deck.
The thing is also, ETC is on 19 life. One Shivala Holy Wrath could get in there and do the job. So he can even play a Shivala here with Banker. I like this a lot. Kill off the Elec, get on board, and still hopefully be able to do the 25 damage combo. This also means one of the Holy Wraths can be used to cycle and still deal a bit of damage to the face. It doesn't do 0 now, it'll just do less than 25.
It's a really nice combination of things that might just about be going right for Rase here. No more bombs added to ETC's
So Rase needs to dodge Ziliax here. Ziliax is probably lights out.
Yes.
He managed to dodge that. Probably won't be happy about the Devastator. It could be worse. It's okay. It is a tough matchup, but Rase is still in it. So ETC clearing up the Shivala, clearing up the rest of the board. Rase did not want to see that armor up. So the armor up, that's going to be 26 health, which is technically out of range, but there's still some cycle.
Well, he can Hammer of Wrath the face, I guess. He can Hammer of Wrath the face and go Pyro quality.
There's 1 bomb left in deck right now.
Yep, that's right.
There's another timeout.
Hammer of the face, Pyro quality. It clears the board, but that's it. That's the last Pyro quality. He's still got a Shrink Ray after. I guess he could Hammer of Wrath and Shrink Ray.
He could have quality Pyro, then Hammer of Wrath.
Yeah.
Could Hammer of Wrath the Devastator and Consecration, but I think he wants to send that damage upstairs just in case.
He needs to continue chunking away at that health. It's so important right now.
He could draw a bit more with the Pyro, but it won't let him clear the. It won't let him clear the Devastator.
If he does draw a Holy Wrath, he could just go for it this turn. He can just play the Holy Wrath. But yeah, you get it.
He
just
should
play
do
it.
this.
If he draws Shivala,
Did it. That's it. He got there.
Amazing.
Rase found the line.
Because
this was good.
even if that missed, it still wasn't
still
going to
gets
mess
the
up his
cycle,
combo.
right.
So, of course you go for it. Rase gets there. We are going all the way to game 3 here. ETC's tertiary deck has not managed to put a stop to Rase. And I have to wonder, Lehigh, is he going to go back to his primary deck?
Probably.
Because the armor generation is what he was lacking there.
True, but he took a much more aggressive line. Even with the armor generating cards, when you have that sort of hand where you can curve out very nicely to be aggressive, if you don't have that Rover on 1, for example, it won't still generate you that much armor. He still has shield blocks in the deck. The other thing he cut was the weapons project, so it definitely does help. But I think the way ETC wants to take this matchup is to be more aggressive, which is why he switched to tertiary. It
Yep.
could still be
And,
possible. He
well,
might switch back, but
No, he's not switching back. I've just
Okay.
confirmed that he is sticking to his tertiary deck. Rase, obviously, sticking to his primary deck. It's all going to come down to this. We have seen now how Rase can win the game. It's tough, and that timeout turn was ideal.
that was good. Him drawing that many bombs
2
at that
bombs.
point was very good.
Which, gets the bombs out of the deck and meant the Holy Wrath later on was more likely to hit the Shivala. Everything went right for him there. But here we go. Game number 3, the final game of the day.
And the thing is, Rase was able to set that up. Obviously, it looks like, oh, he just launched Holy Wrath facing other. Yes, but his aggression throughout the entire game got him to the point where Holy Wrath was able to just close out the game. If he had been so aggressive with his True Silver Champions, like we were saying, maybe he can trade here, we clean up the board and so on. But going face with the True Silver Champion charges let him get to the point where ETC had not enough health to survive the Holy Wrath. Mega Assembly on 1 from ETC, spending his mana to try and...
Attorney Rovers there, right? Straight away, that's armor. That's
Could consider picking up the Harvest Golem, but there's nothing he can draw on turn 2 to play, so Attorney Rover lets him have a guaranteed turn 2 play. And there are other 3-mana minions in his deck that he could find to by turn 3 to play that. Yeah, this is fine.
Rase starting the game with both Crystology
That usually helps.
in his hand helps a lot. Crystology's little buff that it had a few weeks ago.
Little.
Oh, it feels weird to say the word buff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For Hearthstone
Ooh.
buff. Crystology's buff from a few weeks ago has made a world of difference to several Paladin decks, actually. And here we see why.
This is nice too for ETC. He's now playing the Rover out. He understands that he doesn't have as aggressive of a hand as he did last game, and with a Rover shield block, he can actually just take these turns, squeeze in some hero powers, and try to get out of range.
We does have that turn 7 Blastmaster Boom that everyone is afraid of.
The Wrench Caliber still get that sorted out.
Yeah.
Pyro played out for tempo again to try and whittle down some of the health from ETC, and it looks like it's going to pay off. If ETC had Shield Snap, he might even use it here just to maintain his armor, but it's not there.
Pyromancer going to be able to value trade away this, but it does prevent the second Crystology from being played. Oh, well, no, sorry, it doesn't prevent it, but it does mean that the Pyromancer would just kill itself.
Yep, which I think is why ETC played it out. It might look like, what, he's just going his Rover, right, but now almost all of Race's cycle cards, actually all of Race's cycle cards, other than the Novices, are spells. So if Race chooses to cycle at the cost of killing off the Pyromancer, sure, the Rover dies, it still gains the 2 armor, but it also saves him the 3 damage that otherwise would have gone upstairs.
Yep.
And even if that damage went upstairs, that still means ETC has to swing back into the Wrench Caliber. That may still be the case. ETC might have to go Wrench Caliber or Militia Command next turn to deal with this, but if that's the case and Rase just doesn't play any spells here, then in ETC's eyes, that's kind of a win. He's making it awkward.
I hope you like my
So Rase fortunately
invention.
does have the Novice Engineer.
Yep. And I like to see that being played as well. This doesn't particularly matter what order he plays the stuff in. He could just slam the Elven Archer as well. He's just like, you know what? I'm going to start dealing damage. You removed a Warpath from your deck with your tertiary. You're less likely to be able to deal with this whole board. Every single point of damage counts.
I do like this. Elven Archer is a guaranteed 1 damage, but the 1 damage can be dealt now just to whittle down the armor, because the armor can keep adding up. But the Archer can also push extra damage just by being on the board.
Yep, every single turn. Or it can actually help to clear up this Militia Commander, which seems less important than dealing damage to the face. With the True Silver Champion drawn, Rase can just, well, he can put ETC down to 29.
It's less than 30.
It is less than 30. He could play the Prismatic Lens instead.
I want to see Rase play this Crystology because there's a lot of 1-attack minions being drawn at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's not that many left in the deck. There's a Soup Vendor and I believe a
Kangor.
Novice.
Kangor, Thalnos.
Kangor is in hand.
Sorry, of course it is.
It's okay.
So yeah, I think Thalnos is potentially the last one.
Yep. Okay. Acolyte's a little risky, but not going into Dynamatic turn. That's a way you could lose the game. So I definitely don't want to see Acolyte come down here. With 9 cards in hand, Novice can be used here. If Dynamatic comes down to kill off ETC's own Militia Commander, I think Rase is fine with that. He could consider coining out Prismatic runs now before any bombs are shuffled in to guarantee that he doesn't draw the bomb off of it. Could also just True Silver.
True Silver and slam everything.
Like we saw this last game too.
Well, and it worked out for Rase last game as well.
It did.
If he is able to set up the scenario where a single Holy Wrath into Shivala is lethal, then well, he's gonna be in a much better position.
Okay.
Swing Bomber can come straight down. That's the first of this.
This means next turn can go Wrench Caliber Armor up.
To Wrench Caliber hit and
Boom.
Blast Master Boom. More damage.
Okay, this could be a spot where if Rase had Shrink Ray or Quality, he would just use it to clean up the C4 and Bomber and continue on from there, but that is not there, so he has to decide if he's accepting this damage or trying to clear it somehow. Good timeout to save 5 health, but I don't think the timeout is worth that little. Can save it for another turn where you try to cycle a lot with the bombs in deck. Prismatic Lens does not fill up your hand quite yet, so that could be used this turn as well. There's no mechs on board, so there's no fear of Snip, Snap, or Zilliax. If we're sticking in line with what Race's game plan is of just making sure the damage goes face, that Elven Archer should go upstairs, I think Prismatic Lens needs to play. Oh, this is fun as well. Basically, cards need to be drawn so that those Shrink Rays and quality can be found.
Yeah, Race needs to get there sooner rather than later. Still not being able to take advantage of that Suit Vendor yet. Ironically, True Silver not healing Race at all.
I think he's playing out the Suit Vendor here in case Dynamatic comes down and makes Race draw the cards. Because if that's the case and Suit Vendor was left in hand, 1 card would be burned. And when Shivala, Holy Wrath are not in hand, it can be scary.
It's a little bit scary. Bankers as well.
Decides to kill off the Suit Vendor. The Acolyte's not guaranteed draw, the Suit Vendor
is... Well,
sorry, the Acolyte is guaranteed draw, the Suit Vendor isn't.
No, that's true. However, Race cannot take advantage of the Acolyte, and he would have been able to take advantage of the Suit Vendor, as we can see. It would have been.
With 1 Pyro gone, we saw as well. It's harder to activate the Acolyte.
Yep.
I would like to see a Prismatic Lens at some point.
Ooh. Ah, okay. Let's just keep dealing damage to the dome. ETC failing to draw Zilliax so far this game.
He could be saving Prismatic Lens for a timeout turn, where it's more likely he draws the bomb. Hammer of Wrath draws 1 card from your deck. Prismatic Lens is guaranteed to draw a spell, which is more likely than just the natural card draws. Or perhaps he's saving it for timeout and trying to draw multiple cards in 1 turn later on.
I think it's boom time, Language Hacker.
A little bit.
A little bit. Wrench Caliber going into the Acolyte, and then lots of boom bots in the board. Race is going to have a hard time surviving this.
I mean, this is kind of why I wanted to Prismatic Lens early. I understand why Race is holding onto it to try and, you know, weed out some bombs later, but there is no clear right now. If Race has to timeout this early, that's disastrous. There's 14 cards left in his deck, 11 if you count bombs. So if you time out, if he times out now, he's not using it with the card draw anyway, but he also isn't dealing with the board.
He could go timeout Prismatic Lens this turn.
Yeah, that way you still time out to stop the damage, and you sometimes get the Prismatic Lens bombed.
There's 3 bombs in the deck, so chances aren't low, you know, to at least get 1. There's a lot of spells been drawn
Choose
already.
to keep pushing face with the Novice Engineer, or he could, after playing timeout, trade into one of the boom bots to further reduce the amount of damage coming in.
He's got lethal, just Holy Wrath face.
He might be thinking about this. Is it that Race is definitely not in a great spot, and he has to think of his chances of winning here are higher than 1/14.
1 in 14.
Decides it's not.
And he's got 2.
He decides that there's a higher chance of doing that.
And you know, like if it's desperate, he's got 2 chances as well. If he gets to the point later on where he's still not drawn Shivala, and there's literally no way he wins the game after, then...
I like this a lot, actually.
Oh!
This was, I think this is a good line. It deals with the boom bots, so even though they're flying, it's not going to damage Rase, and it also.
Whoa!
Okay.
Okay.
I was going to say, wow, that Pyromancer's just dodging left and right.
Oh. Well, there's no mech,
Right.
and there's nothing for Ziliax to trade into.
I like the line from Rase. It dealt with the boom bots. It didn't do the Blastmaster boom, but still drew some cards and dealt with. Because even if you do time out this turn and Prismatic Lens, when you eventually clear the boom bots, you'll have to use the other timeout if you don't want to take the damage. So this way he's doing that all in one turn, which is nice. Okay, one bomb left in the deck for Rase here. Now Holy Wrath is not lethal. Could still use it just to cycle.
Yeah, I mean, it's draw a card, it's deal some damage.
And if he happens to hit the Cheval at this point, great.
then you probably win the game from that point. Maybe.
Very
Well,
likely. I think
extreme.
at that point, I'm gonna go timeout Prismatic Lens.
Okay. So probably hoping not to draw the Shivala here.
You drew the Cheval.
Gets it, yeah.
And the Shrink Ray.
That's rough.
That is rough. That means that Shrink Ray cannot be used this game. The mana does not go up to 25, it stops at 10.
So even if Rase had a lot of innovates,
Wouldn't be enough. Here comes. Oh.
yeah. All right, 7 more armor. It's
I'm so
yeah. Rase nods. He realizes this is getting tougher and tougher.
The thing is, though, I wonder if ETC should just be armoring up to try and get out of range. He can play the Dr. Mad Genius right before the Holy Wrath combos start coming out. I don't know if he has enough aggression to kill Rase before Rase can do the combos.
Rase doesn't have a way of stopping this, albeit quite small
Let
board.
me
Right.
think.
I guess he has to play his Prismatic Lens and
Right.
draw the second Shrink Ray?
Possibly.
It's only really going to affect Blastmaster Boom.
ETC's at 38.
Ugh.
It's rough, but doable.
Kind of has to go face, doesn't it?
The problem is, this is yucky because the only cards that can be used here that don't draw cards are Shrivala, Banker, and Quality.
And Kangor.
Oh, Kangor as well.
Yeah.
So I guess Kangor can be played here.
Kangor with Flash of Light.
Not
You'd rather play the Kangor after you take the damage that you're about to take this turn, though.
He's gonna have to because I don't think he has another line here. I think holding off and playing this Prismatic Lenses really didn't pay off here for Rase.
Well, he's got a Quality Consecration next turn. That's something.
And there's no more bomb generators in ETC's hand currently.
Yep, still no more bomb.
My statement stands true.
There's still a way to discover one, though.
There is. And this is kind of why I didn't super like ETC jamming the boom last turn. There's a chance to discover more bomb mechs, sure, but he was in a situation where he wasn't far off from armoring up out of range, especially with Ziliax in hand.
Yep.
So I really would have liked him to just keep armoring up there. He still hasn't seen both Shrink Rays have not been used, so he hasn't seen an Equality or a Shrink Ray, so it's very, very likely Rase has one at this point. So developing the Blastmaster, there's too many Dr. Booms. Developing the Dr. Boom Mad Genius does give you access to the hero power. The mechs having a rush isn't that relevant because Rase isn't going to develop that many minions. It's just, on average, you get less armor.
Yeah.
There's 5 possible. Sure, when you hit the Blast Shield, it's great, but on average, you get 1.7
Okay.
armor.
I believe you.
Well, there's 5 possible hero powers. Let's say you do cycle through one every turn. If you cycle through one every turn and you get 7 armor when you do hit it, on average, let's say you hit all 5. 7 divided by 5 is, what, 1.4 actually?
Okay.
So you get 1.4 armor per 5 turns.
Rather than 2 armor.
Right. And on average, it's better to just armor up every turn with a normal hero power, which is why I didn't like ETC playing the
There it is, though. ETC does get... obviously, you're not mentioning the original 7 armor, so there is the bonus of getting the 7 armor immediately
right
as well. Which
However, that can just be played at the end. There's still 2 shield slams, I believe. Oh, no, yeah, ETC is running shield slams. There's still 2 shield slams. It can just be used. It doesn't even have to be used after Cheval is used, but on the final turn before Rase is going to launch it, then you just jam the boom for the extra 7 armor.
Right, gotcha.
Somebody order a bomb.
Bomb. That's 2.
Okay.
Unity. Precision.
So natural ZX being played. There's no more. But Equality and Shrink Ray don't quite clear this, so more magnetic minions can be attached to
and
it.
Snip Snap is there in the hand, ready to go. No, there's no way of clearing this, is there? Apart from playing Shivala, which obviously isn't no-go.
I see a line.
Okay.
Shivala, Banker, Holy Wrath face. You get the Shivala, you play the second Shivala, you hit the Clockwork Goblin with both of the Shivalas, you banker the other Shivala, you don't draw it next turn, and then you Holy Wrath next turn.
That seems really unlikely.
It is not... It's not that unlikely. If you want, I'll do the math. Give me a sec.
Let me think.
Well, it's a 1 in 3, and then
And then
a 50-50?
a 2 and 3.
And then, and then 2 and 3. Okay, sure.
It's not too bad. It's 2 out of 9.
Well, Rase probably has to take those odds then.
That's what I'm saying. That's natural Zelax gone, so perhaps there's a 2-9 chance he wins the game if he does that. Alternatively, he can Shrink Ray this turn. The problem is it doesn't let him actually kill the Clockwork Goblin. So after Shrink Ray is being used, DTC can just jam a Snip Snap onto this.
Oh boy. It's not going to lose its lifesteal.
This still isn't... This is still kind of fine, though, because even with the Snip Snap, there's only...
It's 40, sorry, it's 34 health, isn't it?
Actually, the problem isn't that it doesn't heal
20.
too high. It's the problem that Shivala doesn't kill this with 3 Snip Snaps onto it.
Right.
Which means that it can stick around.
Yeah, Shivala deals 7, it's got 10.
Oh. I think Rase should have gone for that line.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He's also down to 10 health, and there's still 2 bombs in the deck.
I'm almost out of cards.
As in, both of the cards in the deck are bombs.
Actually, maybe you should have gone for that one. Oh, these were bombs. Oh, then never mind. Ignore what I said.
Still 2 bombs left in the deck.
Yeah, my bad.
Only 2 cards. That's
Wait,
going to be
if those
that.
were the bombs, then Rase should have known that he was dead, so he should have gone for some sort of Shivala line to heal up.
I guess so.
I lost track of the bombs.
Either way, ETC does take this one home, and that wasn't a real stretch. Obviously, we said from the beginning, it's very favored for the Warrior, and Rase didn't even have a counter deck prepared to beat the Warrior. So unfortunately, I think Rase will have known that he was probably going to lose that one as soon as he saw the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of rough. We did see one of his side lists, which I thought might have been for Warrior. It even includes Nazari, but I suppose Rase didn't feel comfortable playing that against the Warrior. Maybe he thought his initial deck with enough aggression might be able to get him there.
Yeah. It was close, right?
It
Race did
was,
manage to take the second
yeah.
game. It could have happened. Either way, we are going to conduct our last interview of the day. We're going to chat with ETC. Hey, ETC, congratulations for taking down Race with the OTK Paladin. But how did you feel about that matchup? You must have been quite confident.
I feel for Warrior, it should be favored in this matchup. And I practice a lot with the... I practiced with myself. I play both of the decks, and my conclusion is Rase is gonna never play the secondary deck because the secondary deck is very late.
Okay.
So it never win the game. So I know he must have played the primary.
Yep, well, you were correct. He didn't switch decks at all.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. We saw that a lot of players have tech this kind of in for the sideboard. Do you know? I know this isn't the deck you brought, but do you happen to know what Raze's secondary list might be used against, like the Undertaker list with Nazari?
I don't know. I thought it could be against the Warrior. From the deck itself, it looks like it's very good against the Warrior, but from the practice, it's not.
Yeah, it ends up being too
So
slow.
maybe it just he just want to bait me. I don't know.
Oh, that's possible.
So, ETC,
Yeah.
you are up against Nalgudan first match tomorrow. Are you happy with how your preparations worked out this week? It seems like you'd had a pretty good call with the Warrior.
Yeah, cause I practiced with Rase like for 2 weeks in a row,
Okay.
and we knew each other very well, and he must think I would never play Warrior. So, and for me, I think okay, so you thought I never play Warrior, then I just play Warrior. That's my strategy actually.
Well, there you go. It certainly worked out today. Good luck tomorrow. We will be seeing you then in your game against Nalgudan. But get a good night's rest. We'll see you then.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
And that is us finished today for day 2 of week 5 of Hearthstone Grandmasters. Let's take one more look, for those of you that just joined recently, at how today went down here in the Americas region. First, PNC took down Strive Crow with a very quick 2-0 sweep with his Mana Cyclone mage. Then Eddie took down Muzzy with the OTK Paladin, back when we saw it performing very, very well earlier on in the day. Dog took down Nalgudan in the first Rogue Mirror of the match. Then Purple took down Monsanto in the second against the Pogo Hopper Rogue. That one wasn't a true mirror. And finally, as you just saw, ETC with the Warrior quite comfortably took down Rase, although there was one game where he lost and it did look a little bit dicey. Here's the standings after today. Eddie sitting very firmly at the top of Division A with an 8-2 score, followed kind of closely by Frozen, 7-2. Strive Crow holds the 3rd position before playoffs, but it's 5-5, and PNC also has 5-5, so that could still go anywhere.
Yeah, we've seen it shuffle around a little bit on the left side.
Yeah, we have, exactly. Frozen was at the top yesterday. Monsanto, though, now 7-2 at the top, just ahead of Dog, who won his game today, also looking good. And Rase, 5-4, still finds himself in the playoffs, but again, that could change very, very easily, given that he's now tied with Purple, also at 5-4, just behind by tiebreakers. Tomorrow, though, for the final day of the week, ETC is going up against Nalgudan, as we said a moment ago. Then Rase up against Monsanto, Purple against Jasan, Bloody Face against Firebat, and again, 2 back-to-back Rogue Mirrors, just like earlier today. Amnesiac takes on Frozen, and finally, because it's Super Sunday, we have our 6th match, which is going to be Soleil against Dog. Which game are you looking forward to the most, Language Hacker?
The one with the Rogue in it.
The one with the Rogue in it.
So every single one of them.
Every single one of them. We're going to be seeing a lot of Rogue tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy watching Rogue, at least here for the Americas region. But that is us finished today. I wish we had a little handover now with Darok and Hunter Race in
We can pretend to if
maybe,
you want.
maybe they should fly all the way out here to have a little 4-man desk with us.
Every
and
time,
then just
yeah,
fly all the
three
way
times
back.
a week, yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching. We will be back with plenty more Hearthstone Grandmasters tomorrow.